Welcome to officially episode 1 of TheCreatives. This podcast is sponsored by Panorams Media, your local source for video production in Ottawa and surrounding cities. Thank you so much, Panorams Media, for sponsoring this episode. Welcome back to TheCreatives. This is the first official episode. I'm joined today by no other than Mr. Joseph Julien.
How you doing?
Hello, Joseph.
How you doing?
Good, you?
Not too bad, man.
Good. So, in the nature of this podcast and the title being TheCreatives, the goal here was to explore like the creative people and creative processes, creative things. And when I put out that pilot episode, you reached out and you said, "Yo, I'd be down to do this." And that got me thinking. Like, I was only thinking like the space of like video, photo stuff, but you're in the music space, I understand. So before we dive in any deeper into how I know you and where we are, let's start with Joseph. What makes you a creative?
Just still using my imagination to this very day, and same imagination I had when I was a kid, teenager, young adult. Like, that's all it is, man. It's just like still having like a vision and just taking all the tools you have and just making it happen.
I like it. I like that imagination, that like kid-like imagination where you don't put rules or judgment on yourself.
Exactly.
I find we tend to judge ourselves for thinking overly creative because we feel like it's like weird. But I was taught once to like not judge your own creative ideas because it's kind of like, why would you do that to yourself? I mean, they may be really weird, like really, really weird. But I mean, it's best not to judge yourself. So can you tell me a little bit about kind of what you do that allows you to implement your imagination and stuff?
Yeah, so essentially, if you go back to my background, it was always surrounded by music. Growing up, dad was a DJ, my brother's a music teacher, like the list goes on. So it was always surrounded by that. Now, I only got in touch with that side like in my late teens, like I was 18, 19.
Yeah.
And I started really liking electronic music. So I got everything I needed, laptop, sounds, the DAW to work with, and I just started taking baby steps, and I just had so much fun with it because electronic music for me was always like an escape from like the world outside, So to be able to create what you would like to hear was just so fun that I just haven't stopped. And now it's been over like 12 years.
12 years making
12
music?
years, every single day, yeah.
That's amazing. What do you have any like inspiration that kind of led you down the path of electronic music? Because you mentioned that a couple people in your life were into music, but were they into that same type of music?
No, so my dad's from Trinidad and Tobago, so for him it was always like soca and reggae. And then my brother, he was more into like rock and alternative music. Okay. And so I got into electronic music in high school, really, because it was just one of those simple things. Like, I had a gym class where they played it, because I was in a gym class with the older guys and they were playing it while we were working out.
That's awesome.
And I was like, I love this.
Yeah.
I love this music. And then I got home, did a little bit of research, slapped some on my iPod Nano, would go to school, and then, and then it stuck with me, really. And then next thing you know, I just found myself just listening to it like every single day. And there's so many different genres of electronic music. So depending on what my mood was, there was always something to match it. You know what I mean? And so that's it. That's all. That's the love story right there.
That's amazing. I find there's a lot of layers to electronic music.
Big time.
And it's interesting because are a lot of the sounds that you use, are they pre-recorded sounds? Are they like synthesized? Or
so you can go with presets, right? But the thing is too is like there's a lot of VSTs, which are like kind of the virtual instruments that we have on the laptops that kind of allow us to do those analog sounding sounds.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of presets you could use that are out there. You can adjust those presets, but at the same time you can start off with like just a flat sound and then trying to mold it. But see, that's the part where that young kid imagination that you still have comes into play, because you've got all the time in the world, right? So you just kind of, you mess around with it until you think it sounds right, and you just slap it in there. And then that's what makes your sound a little bit more unique.
That's awesome.
Than someone else's,
That's awesome. That's an interesting, because like a reason why I wanted to talk to you, and I found it intriguing to speak to someone in the music space rather than like the video space, which is like I'm very involved in, is because I feel like we may be drawing on similar sources of energy towards what we're doing, but we're gonna dive into that shortly. I have a couple questions that I want to ask you, and before we go deeper, I want to just read that like formal definition of like what creative means. This is like textbook, Google, whatever you would find. Creative as an adjective is relating to or involving the imagination or original ideas, especially in the production of an artistic work. So, I mean, anything can be art, right?
Literally.
My issue with this definition is that it puts creativity in a box. And I feel like society has put creativity in a box and defined as like, you are creative because you paint. You are creative because you, whatever, play an instrument. But I think it's more than that. I feel like it's more than that, the sources of that. So it's kind of the goal here today is to kind of dive in a little bit into you and maybe my input as well, and we'll see where it goes. So let's start with you touched on this a bit, but why do you do this type of work? Like, what brings you back every day, day after day?
I would have to say literally just the ideology of finding freedom. Interesting. You know what I mean? Just being your own boss and doing what you want to do. But it's how my music's touched people back in the day. Like, because I've been doing this for 10, 12 years. So there was a point where when I was under my first duo with Dance Folk, we were a bit more in like the spotlight. So we had a more international stage and people were just reaching out and like, being like, oh, you know, I've had some really negative thoughts this week, but I listen to your track all the time and it really helped me get through this. And that shit, man, you know what I mean? That shit's like more than money. That's like for me, that's like shit. I changed somebody's life.
Yeah.
That touches me in a way where it's like, I can like look forward to doing this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because that's all I want to do, man. It's just set the level of just vibes, really.
Yeah.
You know, go to all these places in different parts of the world, learn things, meet people, and just like speak to them through my sound. That's
awesome.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful thing to invoke emotion into other people. I think emotion is what's like, I mean, it can be used in a negative way. Like people can play on emotions to sell you products. But I feel like our entire world is our emotions are toyed with, but in a positive sense, like you said, like being able to brighten someone's day, that's incredible. Like, you know, that feeling just driving down the road and a song just hits, and you're like,
because like when you think about it too, okay, like, cause I'm sure you have artists yourself that have touched you in that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? How far would you go see them play?
I mean, I just went to another city last week to go see one of my favorite artists.
Exactly.
No question. I just did it.
Exactly. And you're the type of person that's going to keep that guy afloat so he can do what he wants to do for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And that's why, because he touched you in that way. So you're like, yo, here, take my money. Like, I love you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that's what makes him like be his own boss, you know, like kind of just decide what he wants to do in the day. And that's what I want.
Yeah. And I mean, that kind of ties into why we're even sitting here right now and why I know you. So I met Joseph. We were filming a sunrise live set that he was playing along the Ottawa River. It was absolutely beautiful. I'm going to throw in some footage if I can find it. And I just remember I was like deprived on sleep. I was just like, and it was like really hot. And we were just out here flying drones and filming, getting some really awesome footage. And I just remember the music, like that's what kept me going that day. Like I didn't know who you were prior, so I was there to do a job. And the music kept me going. And then I was just like, and then we ended up connecting after that because you communicated through your music. And I think maybe we stayed in touch because like I communicated through my like video art that I was doing. And then we stayed in touch that way. But that's a little backstory about how we met. But I listen to a lot of music while I work, like while I'm cutting up video footage. And one of your songs came on, I think it's Stay Clear. It's on Spotify. Like I was playing through my likes and as the song was playing while I was doing anything, I was just vibing. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I liked it. Obviously I knew it was you, but I had forgotten about the song because it was buried way deep down in my likes and it's a good track.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Appreciate that.
It's a good track.
If I'm being honest, it's the track I hate the most.
Really? It's crazy how that works. Because you'd be like your own biggest critic.
See, that's the thing, man. It's like literally, you were talking about what drives me every day, right? It's because way back when I was taught that like, you know, if you keep looking at other artists and like trying to compete with them, like you'll never get to the end goal. But like the best way to pick up speed and get the ball rolling is it's got to be you versus you.
I like that.
You versus you. So every day, like I wake up, I make a song. I think it's the greatest song, right? But brother, like I listen to this song for like months on nonstop repeat because I'm adjusting the kick. I'm taking things out. It's too many melodies. I want something else. So then by the end of it, I'm so sick and tired of listening to it that I'm just like, I wish I could just scrap this song, but it's like, it's over. Like I finished it.
Yeah.
And then that one got signed. Takes another 7 months for it to be released because, you know, they've already got tracks that are coming out, right? So it's like 14 months now that you're just sitting there like not liking the song, and then it comes out, and then you see people like you be like, I love that song, and then it kind of brightens you back up where you're like, you know, it's not the worst song.
Yeah.
But technically, you know what I mean?
It's hard.
Technically, it's like I've gotten better in technique.
Oh, absolutely.
That it's like I hear it and I'm like, so many things I could have fixed, and I'm just like,
yeah. But even given the opportunity, you might not even go back and fix it.
But that's it, right? So then it's just like you kind of hear those mistakes, well, what I consider mistakes, and then be like, all right, the next one, I'm not going to make those same mistakes. I'm going to fix this. But that's you versus you. So then the next one, you would be like, oh shit, like this is even better than Stay Clear. And I'm like, I know, but it's not as good as what I'm working on now.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's never ending.
It is never ending.
And then you just keep progressively getting better.
Interesting. I can definitely relate to the process because like of creating videos, and you know, you're in the studio, you're editing a video and like you edit it and you're like, this is sick. And then, but you got to go back and you got to watch it like 10 more times
100%.
because you got to color grade it and add like animations and audio design. So by the time you're done the video, like you said, similar sense, you've watched it like 40 times. Yeah. And when it comes out, you're like, this isn't great. But then it's the response, right? Yeah. It's the feedback. The feedback is good. But you were saying something about looking at other artists and like you'll only progress if you start doing you. I definitely faced a similar dilemma where I was just like, I would watch so many YouTube tutorials, right? Yeah. How to shoot a video in a certain way, whatever. And I was just like indulging in so many videos and I wasn't creating. Because I knew I wouldn't be able to create up to that standard, so I wouldn't create at all. Exactly. And then once I started to just do it for the sake of doing it and the practice, even though it was probably shit in my eyes, that's when I found I started to really grow.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's cool. You versus you. One thing I found is optimism, even if you feel a little bit delusional sometimes, can take you really far. Like, it's what's your take on that? Like being like so optimistic about your work, even in the face of
brother. That's that can happen to me in a night.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that's literally like I'm in this studio and I work till like I get here at 7.
Yeah,
I have my coffee with me and I just head down and I start working on music. By 2 a.m. I'm obviously tired. My ears are a little overworked. I'm a little delusional, you could say. Like, kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, hearing it in a way where I'm like, oh, tomorrow if this releases, it'll blow up, like, all over the world.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, I wake up, little morning coffee, showered, whatever, sit down, play it, and it's garbage. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, what the hell?
It's just different mood.
It's just different mood. And then you almost want to just delete it because you're just like, what was I thinking last night? But that could that doesn't take me a while. That could be like the next day. I could be like, oh shit.
That's interesting. Yeah, I feel like we like respond, like we feel different at different times of the day.
Big time.
Like I'm
starting to learn that a lot recently.
Yeah. Like the morning is best for, I'm not going to speak too deep into this. I learned about it, but I'm not going to go in because I don't want to misinform anyone. But I know like the first few hours after waking up are ideal for like certain things, and then the afternoon is better for certain things, and the evening's good for certain things, and it's how we move with the sun, right? So that could be why.
Yeah,
I feel like at night you're a little woozy, a little sleepy, tired from a long day, and you're a bit more vulnerable maybe. And in the morning you're just like awake, you're rested, and you're like
very aware, you know.
Yeah.
So I can agree with that.
But no, you're definitely onto some cool shit. Like your music's cool, and that's why we're sitting here today. Where are we today? Let's talk a little bit about where we are.
Today we are at Midnight Hour Creative Studios.
Nice.
So it is in Ottawa, and it's my buddy Nick Gaddis and his girl Jen Bernard, and they both have this place together. They're both awesome photographers.
Yeah.
And they've allowed me to come here and kind of work out of it because I'm a dad now, you know, so I lost my studio to my kids' room. So, so I had to find a place. Luckily enough, they let me in, and now I work out of this place. But, you know, I feel like you were saying earlier on the amount of things that we can relate to, just different topics. Well, that's what we've done here.
Yeah.
You know, they're both photographers. I'm a musician, but like when we come here, we come to work. They do their creative stuff. They get inspired. I do my creative stuff. I get inspired off seeing them.
Yeah.
Always working and, you know, trying out new things. And it works both ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so it's been a good time.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it speaks volumes to your character that you are raising a family and you're not giving up. I feel like most people, once they reach a certain stage in their life, they think they're not capable or they're not eligible for some reason. Like, because I am a parent or because whatever circumstance, I can no longer pursue these wild dreams of mine.
As harsh as that sounds, what I'm going to say, it's because they're lazy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's
like, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to break it to you. You're lazy.
I think it's a bit of laziness and a bit of
Bro,
society telling you can't.
Yeah, but see, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Okay. But the thing is like, when has anybody's opinion actually stopped you from doing what you want to do? Some people let it happen, but some people just like when you really look at it.
Yeah.
You know, my parents weren't cool with me dropping out of college to do music.
Yeah.
Something promising to do music.
Yeah, exactly.
But I had to face the noise. And like, yeah, they took a bunch of shit away from me, but it wasn't like crazy. They don't still hate me for it.
No.
You know, yeah, they didn't like it for the first year, but they got over it because when you keep telling people like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, they kind of get tired of being like, yo, you should do this, you should do this.
Yeah.
So it takes time, yeah, but you won't know if you just give up like today. If you're just like, oh, I'm not doing it because of said things that I think will happen.
I agree.
No, dude, just fucking do it. And then, I don't know, live with the consequences. But if this is what you want to do, these are the things you have to do. And when I was coming up, one of the best lines I ever heard was, what was it? It was something like, do what they won't do today so you can do what they can't tomorrow.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah.
I lose sleep. Like I've given up on, you know, having a lot of rest because I need to fit in my schedule. I'm a dad, like full-time day, like taking care of him, bringing him to parks, going out, doing cool things. He goes to bed. Girlfriend, sacrifice as well. She's like, yo, you know, I understand that this is what you're doing and this is what you want. And I understand that there's sacrifices to this. So I'll stay home and watch the kid at night when he goes to bed. So you can then go to the studio till 3 a.m. And this is on my day off.
Yeah.
I also work. So it's like, there's like the days where I watch him in the morning, bring him to daycare, come home, work on music, then go to work, do 3 to like 11:30 at night, head out from work at 11:30, come to the studio, work till 3, next day, same thing.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
Do you find that you kind of draw your energy from continuously doing that and, you know, being there for your family and do you find that some of your creative energy comes from that?
Yeah, but like a lot of inspiration lately does come from the kid. You know what I mean? Like just seeing him and like he loves my music, which is cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. And it's like he's just a really awesome kid and you kind of go like you put yourself in the driver's seat and you're like, okay, I got to make this happen now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not like you know, I was telling somebody the other day, like the kid, before I had the kid, it was like, what am I going to do now? Like, am I still going to be a musician? Like I used to break down and cry, man, because I was just like, shit, like, I don't think I could do this. You know what I mean? I was so scared. And like, honestly, having like a really good partner is essential in having a child.
Yeah.
Because like she really helped me like in those times where I was super down and like not really inspired to do music, you know?
Yeah.
And then I had all these concerns and things that I thought were going to happen. And then I had the kid and all the best things that have happened in my music career have happened after I had the kid.
Yeah.
Because I was explaining to my buddy, I used to go to studios and like drink a beer and like smoke a little and just hang out. But then I told myself like, oh, it doesn't matter if I didn't do anything today. I'll just come back tomorrow and try it again. But there was a lot of consecutive days like that.
Right.
But once I had the kid, if I get 6 hours to work on music, I'm working on my music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
No wasting time.
there's no wasting time. Like
Yeah.
even taking a pee break, you feel guilty. Like you're just like, I need to.
Interesting.
And I just getting a lot more stuff done now. Being
That's
super
amazing.
more creative, more inspired. Like,
Yeah.
it's nuts. Now, this isn't like a PSA for everybody to go and
No.
have kids, but like,
But for the people that already have
yeah,
kids,
or people that have concerns, you know, like if you're having a kid and you're certain that that's the person you want to have a kid with, but you're overthinking everything, like chill out, man. Like,
Yeah.
don't knock it till you try it. You
yeah.
know? Like,
I mean, aside from all the materialistic things in our world, like reproducing other humans
Nuts.
and building families. I mean, I don't have a kid myself, but I think it's, what is the point of existing if you're not
wild.
gonna at least try to do that?
Yeah.
But that's incredible, man. I don't necessarily think people are very lazy. Like, I just think society has kind of groomed us
To be
This is kind of
lazy.
going back to what we were talking about. We're just overindulged with sensory input and information. The second you wake up, you're on your phone, you're getting a plethora of just information, right? I feel like that lends itself to the feeling of like, I can't do it because everyone else looks like they just did it by snapping their
Yeah,
fingers.
but you're just like,
but they didn't.
You're just like overthinking it because you're still talking about everyone else, bro. It's you.
But that's the hardest part. It's
just,
easier
you
to
have
put it on other
realize
people.
it's you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Easy to blame this, easy to blame that, bro. It's you.
Yeah. No,
It's
absolutely.
you, bro. Like if you go to bed, that's on you. The moment you wake up, that's on you. The moment like I'm gonna pick up this camera, that was my decision.
Yeah.
But like I could also be like, yo, I'm gonna get up from this interview and go work on my music to get myself further. I'm not, but it's just I'm saying I could do that.
You could, yeah.
Everybody could do whatever the hell they want. You can pick up a book. You could learn what you want to do. You can like leave school, but like if your parents are on your case about like not paying your bills, then get a job and then still pick up those books. But that's hard.
It is.
And no one wants to do that.
No one wants to do anything that's hard.
No one wants to take risks. No one's like, oh, well, that job's promising me like sick days and this and this and this, but I don't really want to be a musician because it's years of being broke, years of asking for money, years of taking loans. Yeah, that's fucking hard, man. But at the same time, there's a reason why there's a handful of artists because those people did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Some didn't. Some made it through money, whatever. But like most of those people have taken those risks.
Yeah.
Actors take those risks every day. You take those risks every day, man. You could be sitting down at a nice government job, bro, just like soaking
I have
it
a
in.
university degree.
Yeah, you
never
you
worked a
could
day
do
in the
whatever
field.
you want. But
Yeah.
it's like you're choosing to do this as hard as it is.
Yeah.
And that's on you. And that's why people look up to you and go, oh shit, man, I love what you're doing. Love your content and this and that. Yeah, well, they can't relate, bro, because you're doing it, not them.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you live happy while the people who don't know the code of this are looking at you and like being like, oh, I wish I was like him.
Yeah.
Go be him.
Just take a pay cut. All
Just
it is,
go
take
be him.
Take a temporary pay cut.
Broski, I've been in the minuses, man.
Yeah, but I mean,
Like-
the thing is, money is not real. As long as you're not in crippling debt, I think you're completely
Yeah,
fine.
But you have to be smart about it.
Yeah,
man.
of course. It makes don't go and like, you shouldn't go and buy silly things because I feel like what happens is people purchase like they get into like these financial commitments that then cause them to be having to work in a position to pay for
Before
that
you
lifestyle.
do
But then
anything,
yeah,
you just need a plan.
a plan. I like
plan.
That. I thought you were gonna say you need a house or something.
No,
That's like so much.
Screw- I didn't have a house.
Yeah,
bro.
no, I
was
like that
renting when I
plan.
started. You need a plan. You need goals. You need to be like, I need to be here by said date, and this is what I have to do it, and then just go do it.
And just go do it.
That's
you can kind
it.
of like manifest it. Another thing that I learned early on from I don't know, I read a couple books here and there, but I learned that you must take responsibility for absolutely everything that happens, because when you assume the responsibility of everything that happens to you, you then tell the universe like, I'm in control because it's my fault that they responded to what I said, or because it's my fault that I lost my job, or because whatever. You're taking responsibility and you're saying that I have control over changing the situation. And that's what's very important. When you blame others, or when you say like, I can't do this because of external reason, you're now putting it in the hands of external reason and out of your control, which means you can never change it in your brain.
Never.
So
Yeah.
that's, I hope that resonates with you or anyone listening.
Yeah.
But interesting to pick your brain and learn about that stuff. I have a couple other things I want to dive into here.
For sure, man.
I want to know how do you nurture creative energy, and like, where do you think it comes from? Like, truly, like, I know this may overlap to what we said before, but Tell me about that.
Like when you say nurture, like you mean just like
if you're in a
keeping it
flow,
alive, or
like let's say you're in a flow, you
Okay.
have a good day, and then you're like, you want to keep having days like that. So maybe you analyze what happened to make you have that day. Like, how do you nurture creative energy?
years of trial and error. Years of it, man. It took years for me to realize the days that I needed to step away from the studio and the days I
Okay.
needed to be in the studio.
Interesting.
It started feeling like a high, where you
Nice.
can sense that you need to be in front of your music and like giving it your heart out because you feel it. It's like a ecstasy where you're like, oh my God, I need to write something.
Yeah.
Sometimes I even like take out my phone and I'll just like beatbox my idea because like
'Cause
I don't
you
want
have
to
it?
lose it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm in the car and I'm thinking of a song and I'm like, okay, and every instrument of that song, I'll go and I'll beatbox.
That's
And
amazing.
so when I get home, I can put it down and like whatever. But there are days where I sit in front of that computer, open it up, just take one glance at it and go, no, it's not the day. And I'll just close it. And then I'll go and I'll do normal shit like, I don't know, walk my dog or watch TV or whatever. But like I just know that my head's not in the right space because that's what used to overcook me back in the day. I used to like work on songs when I wasn't in that right mindset, and it was like delete when I had something sick.
Yeah.
And it was just because I was getting frustrated and I couldn't think ahead, like writer's block.
Yeah. It's
But
a good
that's
self-awareness.
years of like every day trying it. And
I mean,
being
you
like,
had to mess that up to gain that self-awareness.
you
right?
have to. You literally have to, man. You can't do this. None of our industries.
No.
You can't do this without trial and error. It is like your most valuable thing
Trial.
in this whole thing is trial and error.
It's so scary to try though.
Yeah, it's so
or
scary.
It's made out to be so scary.
But you're guaranteed to fail before you become good.
I think that's the problem. It's like people are scared to try because they're scared to fail.
But there's like nothing that comes from failure, man. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
No,
There's
you just
nothing
learn.
that comes from it except for people going like, oh shit. And if you're
growth.
worried about people's judgment, fine. But I'm not.
Yeah.
Because since day one of me doing this, people are like, oh, you do house music? That's a little weird.
Yeah.
You're still DJing? Oh, you don't want to like advance? What about your kid? Like everyone
says
this,
it.
bro.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't give a bleep
don't give
about
a-
what people think about me. So
I
it's
mean,
like,
I heard once, if you won't take advice from that person, don't take judgment from them either.
no, brother, like, but you have to understand how to differentiate what you need to hear and what you don't need to hear.
Interesting. Okay.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like when Fairplay and there's a DJ from Norway, but when he goes over my music, he is telling me things that would hurt somebody else. They would be like, ouch, as if my favorite DJ in the world just told me that I wasn't good at this. But I'm there and I'm like writing it down, Googling what it means after, fixing it and this and that, because I need that to get to that next level.
Yeah.
If you get hurt by what everyone thinks of you, this isn't for you.
Yeah.
This isn't for you. Like, go do something else where no one's judging you.
The criticism is valuable. Like,
But some
to a
people-
certain extent.
yeah.
If it's a criticism and like
think
they're
of-
slandering you as a human being and just casting judgment, fine. But if they're taking the time to analyze your work and give you actual feedback and tell you like, yo, this kind of sucks, but this is why it sucks.
But if
then
you're
you
in
can
a
grow
room,
from it.
if there's you,
Yeah.
Fairplay, and my mom, okay,
Yeah.
like to say in a room, and all three of you are like, your music's not really good. Well, sorry, mom, you don't listen to electronic music, so like it doesn't really matter to me if you don't like it. We all have our personal opinions. Same with you.
Yeah.
Like it's like, sorry, man, like you told me that electronic music you don't really listen to it, so like, why would I take your opinion so to heart if you tell me like you don't even know the genre, but you don't really like it? Okay, well then that's personal taste. But Fairplay writes the same shit as I do. So it's like I'm listening to him and being like, well, why don't you like it? And it's like, well, I don't like it because I think the kicks could be fixed and I think that your EQing's off and saturation on some of your... Fine.
Yeah.
That's what I'm taking to heart because it's like, that's what I need to
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
bring me to where I want to be.
So basically, like, analyze who is giving
Yeah.
you the judgment and are they
Because
qualified?
now it's all in the comment sections where you got freaking Bobby Lee Jones from like Michigan just being like, oh, your track sucks, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, man. But like, I know people who'd be like, he doesn't like my music. Like, screw Bobby Lee Jones, man. Just click on his profile. It's like, it says he's like a
Serious.
redneck and he like drives trucks and listens to country.
Yeah.
He's not going to like your music, bruh.
No, absolutely.
But you're targeting not Bobby Lee Jones. You're targeting someone else who's into that genre of music.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyways, man, like that's how you do it. You just got to filter out what's the most important things you need to hear. And then you can kind of get to where you need to go. But you need to fail.
Yeah.
You need harsh criticism. You need to be told you're not perfect.
Yeah.
So you can then become perfect.
Yeah. I like that.
Man, it's just like, this wasn't like, I'm not a millionaire who went to a store and was like, hey, can I buy knowledge about like this industry? Like I was taught this by just listening to other people and knowing who to listen to.
And learning.
Try that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, it's really good insight. And I think whoever's listening to this is going to take great value from that. I hope if that's the kick in the ass you need to just do something, whatever it is. I hope that it's received and sparks something inside of you. So we're gonna continue on with a couple more things that I want to talk about today. Joseph, what do you do when your creative energy is low? I know you mentioned like stepping away from your space, but when it's low and there's no sign of that re-spark, like what are some like practical things or even non-practical things that you do to try and re-spark it?
Okay, so a couple things is like, one is nature.
Nice.
Literally just going out for a walk in like a forest or like, my girlfriend's a huge fan of like going for hikes and stuff in the morning, taking the kid out, you know, and just like bringing him somewhere like, I don't know, just us.
Yeah.
You know, and you step out in there, you get some fresh air, you're like, okay, you know, your mind starts like kind of declogging and you feel more like fresh. There's like even going to see other musicians just to kind of see what they're up to.
Yeah.
Maybe they can spark it, but like bringing us back to why I'm at this studio. Same here. If I'm sitting in front of my computer, I come out and I'll grab a glass of water and I look out and Nick's like doing something really cool with his, I feel like I should be doing something cool. So then I'm like fired up and then I go back down and sit. And then there's even like, so it's not copying, but it's like inspiring yourself off other artists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You listen to what just came out, you listen to what's new, you hear different styles, different like drum patterns, different everything. And you're just kind of like, okay, I like that. I'm like, you know what? I like this style. Let me try this style, you know, but I don't know. I just find it's a little easier for me to just say that. I know a lot of people at home are just like, oh, well, you know, I've never felt that a day in my life, but it's just like that. I'm telling you, it's just, if you repeat it every single day, you'll find it. You'll be like, okay, that's my inspiration. This is what I like. This is where and yeah, man, it's been years of doing this.
Nature's very powerful.
Oh, big time.
Because it's like, it's nature cannot truly be understood. It just is. So I find there's a lot of energy that comes from it.
One of the things me and Nick started like a couple of years ago, and there was a Stude's Cottage. That's because we call this the Studes, you know. Like, are you Studes in? Like, I'm at the Studes, you know. Like, that's how we'll call this place.
I like it.
But Stude's Cottage is every now and then we'll go rent an Airbnb cottage for like 3-4 days, and we take all of our gear and we go out there and we just produce. Man, just 4 days out in the wild, whatever.
Absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Just like
we did it in the fall. Like when I first wrote my first album, Limitless, we did like the final days of me like prepping the album out there, and we did like a mini movie of it. I'll show it to you after.
That's so cool.
But it was all like, he just had a camera, no mic, no fancy lights. We just shot footage. Yeah. And then put it in black and white and put it all together, and it was like a sick short film.
I'm gonna link that somewhere.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
We'll put a link down below.
And but it was just like very raw footage of just like me out there in the wild, very quiet, and just like embracing nature and just finishing up the album.
That's really cool.
Unfortunately, the album is nowhere to be found because it got taken off the internet because it wasn't. It was my first stuff ever, right? So it was like, it was good, but
did you take it off the internet?
No, like because I had to take down my distribution website to get onto Beatport.
Oh, crap.
So when I did that, it took down all the old music I used to have on that distribution site.
Can you not resubmit it?
My laptop crashed.
No.
Because I tried updating it. Because you know how Mac came out with a storage fixer?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of going through all your storage and hand clicking.
You actually lost the music.
I lost it. And the one guy who had it was this guy in France. And he was my best friend. Well, he is my best friend, Axel. And, but he got it stolen. He had
And
his
that's
laptop
absolutely
bag with
devastating.
so some criminal has the one copy of Limitless.
That's worth a lot of money,
Yeah,
that
man.
music. If you have that music, bring it
Send
back.
it back, man.
We will pay you.
But yeah, they unfortunately took his laptop bag, and in the laptop bag was a what's it called?
Hard drives?
No, yeah, the hard drive, and it was on it, and I was like,
Oh my
shit.
God. So that's tragic.
Well, it was
first of all,
tragic
but
because like a few months prior, he sent me a video of him driving from Paris to London.
yeah.
And he was listening to the whole thing in the car, and he was the only person who had a copy of it. And I was like, oh my God, as if you still have it. And then a couple of weeks later, literally someone robbed him and took his bag and has it in the bag. I was like, oh man.
Oh my goodness. Well, I hope if any, that's a perfect example of completely eating shit.
And that is the best example if you're any type of creative listener to this. Back up your shit like 8 times.
I learned when it comes to any sort of digital files, 2 is 1 and 1 is none.
Dropbox.
1 is none.
iCloud, if you use iCloud, like a bunch of external hard drives, just make sure you back that shit up because it is not fun.
Because I think what happens is like you'd look at the price of a hard drive and you'd be like, oh, I don't want to spend $500 on a hard drive, but
I lost my DAW, all my instruments.
Days.
I had to spend like $6,000 in one day. Just like getting it all back.
I really hope your stuff's like double backed up.
Oh,
now.
big time. I've got like 5 external hard drives now. I bought
One's buried in the yard.
I've got copies of everything. Like,
wow.
Like you steal my laptop. Like go ahead. Because when I go and get a new one, I'm backing it up like nothing ever happened. Also, don't steal my laptop. But
we'll know exactly who you are.
Exactly.
Because the webcam is watching always.
Exactly.
Thanks. It's hilarious. So sorry about the music, but I'm sure it happened. Everything happens the way it's supposed to, hopefully. So we're coming kind of towards the end of our conversation points. I want to ask you, what's your favorite thing about modern creativity and
how accessible it is.
Nice. Okay.
Literally how accessible it is. My studio consists of a laptop, 2 speakers, 2 stands, an office chair, and a table.
Yeah.
And I could literally take that studio and go work on music on a train, on a plane, in a different country, as long as I have some sort of internet. Like back in the day, you needed like a studio that was like $1,500 a day with a huge board that nobody understood. Like,
wow.
You know what I mean? It was just, it's nuts. So now, and then like the tutorials, Google it.
Big one.
Like, how do I become a photographer? Just Google that. Well, what do I need? What's a light stand? Google it. Like, everyone's Googled what you've already asked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just go find it. You'll have all your answers there.
Absolutely.
Like, it's just so accessible nowadays.
Yeah.
Just imagine we didn't have internet trying to do this. How would we ever reach out to anybody? How would we ever show anybody anything?
Yeah.
How could we get opportunities in other countries? Nobody would know about us.
No, the accessibility is a big one. That's actually true.
Huge.
I think that's what's enabled a lot of people to be successful in this space, but I feel like it's also crippled people.
Yeah.
Because they feel like, oh, it can't be that easy, but like, it kind of is.
It literally is.
It is that easy. It is as easy as
like
watching.
I was like a D+ student. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was like, just get a C+, and I was fired up. That was like my A-.
C's
you
get
know
degrees, man.
C's up. But no, literally, I was just like, I was never really good with anything scholastic or school related. And just so I was just like, I'm preaching to people. Like if I can do it, you could literally do it.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I had to like break things down and learn the science of writing music and learning like all these different waveforms and how to, all the technical terms. Like, and I just picked it up because I was genuinely interested in it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like math where I'm just like, damn, I have no idea what's going on here. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's literally like for
And it's
music, I get it.
Yeah. And like, I mean, if even the most successful people will still type in a quick search on YouTube, how to something and learn it. Exactly. Then you just put your own creative twist on it. Don't imitate, but be inspired by what other people do.
Never imitate, because the thing is you could also think that you suck, but there could be people around this planet that think that you rock.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, don't copy other people, because as soon as people hear your stuff, see your stuff, whatever it is, and goes, is that this guy? And they're wrong. Then that's when you know you're just like a mold of everybody else.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, think about it. If I play you music there's a lot of people that know as soon as I play a song that is Joseph Julien music. And in my head, I'm like, because it's lower quality. But no, to them, it just sounds like all my music from the past.
Distinct, yeah.
It's distinct, right? So I keep writing that. Then I have my own sound is what they call it.
Nice. I think at first, though, like if let's say you're starting from scratch, complete scratch, I think there is value in trying to replicate 100%, things,
but don't use
but not you don't put it out there as like this is mine. It's like you replicate it to see if you. That's what I used to do. I used to try and replicate edits. How can I would watch tutorials how to edit a photo, and I would do exactly what they said, and then I started editing a bunch of photos like that, and then I was like,
but you weren't picking the same colors, you know. You were taking your own colors, but replicating it to their technique.
Kind of. I was like straight copying exactly what I learned on the video.
Oh, okay. True.
like absolutely, because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. But I wasn't making money off it. I was just doing.
It was for learning.
Yeah, it was for the learning. 100%. I think there's value in that. And then over time you start, once you learn something enough to the point where you can modify it, I think that's valuable. But that also takes a bit of courage because you're like, I don't want to break free of how I was taught or how I was learned.
That's why from day one, like I've always... Like, I know a lot of, like, I sit down in rooms of musicians and they were just kind of like, what? Like, because I know nothing about music theory. Like, the very basics of a keyboard, I understand. But, like, I don't know, like, all the chords and I don't know all this. And literally all music was for me when I started was what I heard.
Nice.
Yeah. It was really like, even if some keys didn't make sense together, in my head they made sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people, they go and they see the chords and the keys that I used in some tracks and they're like, yo, those don't go together. And I'm like, I know, but I like it.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And it's, to me, it's like, that kind of breaks me out of that. Like, and anybody who knows music theory is just like, you know, like, but I don't care.
It's subjective.
To me, it's like, I love it. It's just like, who cares, man? Literally stick to what you want to stick to. But for me, it gives me endless options to just not know all the, like, this has to be like this and this has to be like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, whatever. If it sounds good, it sounds good. Like,
yeah, man.
Screw it.
That kind of brings us back to like the whole inspiration of this entire podcast being the creatives and being the I wanted to explore creativity and I mean, it's been incredible to sit here and talk to you about this because you've just, you know, again, like been one example of the fact that you can't put it in a box.
No.
You can't define it. You can be inspired. You can be inspired by other people, like where your energy comes from, but it's not in a box. Yeah, you know, it can't be in a box. There's no way. Like if it was in a box, it would be something on the shelf at the store. But it's
the
not.
idea of doing something every single day, where it's always fresh and it's always new and it always inspires you to the day you die, to me is like what life's all about, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I hate the idea of just like giving my life up to someone else to just be like, this is when you work, this is when you know. Sure, I do it now because like I'm not an idiot. I still have to pay the bills. I still have a kid. I still have a wife to support, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just like, I don't know, man. To me, I'm like, I tell this to my girlfriend all the time. She hates it. But she's just like, I know I keep switching up wife and girlfriend. Same human being, by the way, but just
partner.
Like, partner. Let's go with partner.
Yeah.
But literally, I tell her this every day that like if I did die tomorrow, I'd be happy because like I did what I wanted to do and I like chased as far as I could chase. You know? And it's just like that's all I wanted.
That's amazing.
It was just to feel this.
Yeah, man. And I think, I mean, I don't. Given the way you speak about it, I don't think you're stopping anytime soon. Please don't, because you can continue to inspire people by doing you so hard.
It's funny. I got these tattoos, as like a commitment.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they're dedicated to my parents, but so like it's like the parents' birth dates, a poem about love and strength on each arm, and then the letters they wrote to me when I left my crib, like both in the same
handwriting.
Same handwriting as
that is amazing.
Yeah. But the thing was, is like that huge tattoo on my arm was to be like, this is what you're doing for the rest of your life. Yeah. Because my mom used to have a saying where she's like, if you get your face pierced and tattoos, they're never going to hire you at these jobs. And I'm like, good. I'm just like, because I don't want to work there. Like,
tap me up.
So here we go. Tap me up. Like,
that's amazing.
This is the life I want. So
yeah. We're told a lot of misconceptions as children and even as adults, man. We're continually reminded to...
But now that I'm a parent, I could kind of get where she was coming from. Like, she just wanted the best for you. And she wanted to protect you in this world and stuff like that. I get that. But it's just, she needs to understand. She raised like I'm thinking a noisemaker, you know, like a
noisemaker.
freaking.
I agree with. I feel like, oh man, everyone's just trying to say like, oh, keep quiet, stay in your lane, don't make noise. But I think we have a voice for a reason, man. We should, and more than just like with words, like you can make noise with your actions.
Yeah, big time.
I think you should make as much noise as you can absolutely make, obviously without hurting people and being a dickhead. But
No, yeah, exactly.
the noise, like it's like you got to be louder about how you feel, about what you want, about what you're passionate about, and then it kind of all leads here. But that's really heartwarming to see that.
Oh yeah, man.
I was always
for sure.
terrified of tattoos because I was like,
I
I'm scared.
sat through this. It was 4 hours.
I'm just scared. I'm like, I'm not gonna like it.
Like
dude,
a year it's
from
just
now.
like, it's just, it took a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea, even my brother knows this, the idea for the tattoos came when I was like 11.
Yeah.
And I only got them done when I was like 25 or 26. And so it's just like, it's been an idea I've always had in my head and something I really wanted to do because we were very close growing up and stuff. So
it's an awesome story though.
man. And so anyways, it was the only tattoo I think I could get without getting in trouble.
Nice.
It was just like a dedication.
Yeah, they're just like
I
play the reverse game
that,
on
you know? It's like, I gave up my whole arms for you guys because I love you.
Yeah.
Like, damn it.
Like, I
I
want to be
didn't
mad
want
at
you
you.
to get tattoos, but like, all right, well,
That's amazing.
yeah, man.
That's freaking awesome, man. Well, before we wrap this up, where can we find your music? I mean, I'm gonna put some links down below.
Okay, so
how can we support you as an artist?
Well, right now, I'm kind of planning it all out. I've taken a bit of a step back to kind of upgrade, I would say, that if that's the right, or elevate, you know, elevate my sound and elevate my music. And I'm working right now with our production team very close, and we are going to be coming out full guns blazing in the next 2 to 3 years, because right now we are working on shows, we're working on music videos, we're working on apps, we're working on a bunch of different things that are going to kind of bring that Joseph Julien experience to its own uniqueness. And, you know, I'm not going to like try to amaze you guys. Like, it's not going to be in space, but like, it's going to be somewhere where you can just break free, be who you want to be, feel the vibes, and just like get away for a bit and just enjoy it. You know, because my favorite artists are Daft Punk and Eric Prydz. And Eric Prydz a lot more because it's just, I can relate to him because he kind of sounds like my music and who I've tried to emulate my sound to sound like. Yeah. And I remember going to see a show at New City Gas where he was playing. He's a DJ. He's playing in a club where a lot of DJs play at. But remember, I was talking to you earlier about people you would like go out of your way to go see. He's mine.
He's one of those people. Yeah.
And when I went to go see him live, from his visuals to the way all the music was placed, I left that club different. Okay. Yeah. You know, when you go see a DJ, you're like, oh, yo, the music was bumping tonight. Like, it was sick. It was such a good time, whatever. That's how you talk about like a normal DJ. But the way I left talking about Eric Prydz was like, yo, you remember the part where he did this and this happened? Or you remember the part where it felt like I left a movie. Yeah. And that is what I'm trying to create. So that takes time. You know what I mean? So right now we are working out the plans on how to do that. All my other music that I've posted, you can find it on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, whatever streaming service you use. Nice. Beatport, you could go to Beatport to go buy the tracks so you could play them in clubs. You can, or I don't care, download it, whatever. It's free publicity. Yeah. But you can go to Bandcamp. Bandcamp's a nice site too. You can go donate however you'd like. We're working on the Joseph Julien merchandise right now. Nice. So there's a lot of things going on, but don't worry, you'll hear about it soon. That's awesome. I'm going to throw links to all that stuff in the description. And if you can't find them still, shoot me a message and check out Joseph Julien on socials. Put them also somewhere. But, man, thank you for kicking off, I guess, season 1, episode 1 of The Creatives. It's been incredible to sit here and talk to you. Brother. Nice way to spend a morning. And you know, it gives me, I'm inspired. This conversation has inspired me more than you can understand, because it kind of reinforces like the thoughts that I'm on, and I'm much earlier in my journey than you are. But it's nice to know that, you know, you have similar ideologies as I do, and you're making shit happen with those ideologies. You got it. Don't give up. No, don't give up. I guess that's you're a lot closer than you think, man. That's our last words to close this off. Exactly. You're a lot closer than you think. Nice, man. Hey.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Hey, no worries, man.
Pleasure.
Always.
Joseph Julien, everybody. You can find him on the internet, and he actually does. You do live stuff, right, in Ottawa?
Yeah, so I got a show November 4th, City at Night. I know it's right around the corner.
I hope we can get this episode out before then.
Hopefully.
November 4th.
10 to 11:15 I'll be on.
Okay, sick.
Come support the rest of the guys, Sheridan Grout and trance legend Orion Nilsson.
Nice.
So
That's awesome.
it'll be good.
Nice, man. If you want, do you want to leave any final message to any aspiring producers, music producers?
If this is really what you want to do,
Yeah.
just go do it.
Nice.
It'll
that
literally,
simple?
if you choose to do it, you'll be on your own anyways. So
Mm-hmm.
like, if that fear lingers in you of like losing people, you're going to. That's the realist part about this. And, you know, just stop listening to outside people, listen to yourself, know how to differentiate where you get your information from, and just go 110%. But that could be for anything, even if you're not a creative.
Yeah.
If you're like a doctor, if you're a chef, if you're whatever, give it 110% and you will get noticed.
Love it.
So best of luck to you.
Thank you. Best of luck. And thank you so much for listening. The Creatives podcast is sponsored by Panoramas Media, Ottawa video production services in and around the Ottawa area, specializing in real estate, automotive, and corporate videography with licensed drone pilots. So hit them up for all of your videography needs. And thank you for listening. I hope this podcast brought you value today. There's going to be more episodes with more guests from all different realms of creativity. So if you are one of those people and you do want to be on the show, there'll be information in the description about how to contact us. We have an email, we have an Instagram, we have a Discord channel where you can just, connect with other people in the creative industry. So the Discord, there'll be a link in the description, the email, Instagram, all that stuff. You can just hit us up, connect. Let's build some awesome community together and all grow together. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.